right, and we are officially live. This
Welcome,
is
welcome, welcome.
the first Nerdcast broadcast. Nerdcast broadcast? Nerdcast
Nerdcast
podcast.
Castness.
Tomato.
There's a
Anyway,
lot. There's
this
a
is
lot
the
of
first
rhyming going
one.
on.
Yeah, this is the first one. The next time you hear us, we will have more subs than Joe Rogan. So get on
Yeah,
the ground floor of this
yeah.
thing right
Be
now.
a day one follower, and there could be some future plans for you.
A1 day one, baby. So
Absolutely.
Ryan and I were thinking for this first go around, we would kind of just take a second, introduce ourselves so you guys could get to know us a little bit more, even though it's just Ryan's mom following us currently. So I
Yep,
don't know
she's
how
number
many
one
people.
follower since day one. She's a
Yep,
great one.
she already knows you pretty well, I guess, but maybe she'll get to know me a little better now.
She's actually in the back scripting this as we go. So
That's actually lit.
out of frame.
I've got Savannah outside the door listening in right now, like just writing down notes.
Well, of course she can't be here because it's guys' night, so the door's closed. So she knows that, but that's fine.
Every night's guys' night. So I'm Sean, and this is.
I'm Ryan, but everyone calls me Harry. All my friends call me Harry, so I'm just gonna go by Harry. Long story short, last name's Harris. For some reason, all my friends called me Harry, and yes, it's spelled like that, Hairy.
And no, I don't think anybody's gonna challenge that. And we are just a couple of fucking nerdy boys that were having a long conversation about some nerdy shit one day, and it just dawned on me, like, why did we not record this long ass conversation of nerdiness? And then we decided from now on we were just going to record every nerdy conversation we had. So
yeah,
here
I mean,
we are.
so essentially, what would happen is like Sean's my go-to person for anytime something nerdy comes out. So MCU, DCU, Game of Thrones, like any big pop culture show, comic book, whatever, like we always console each other. And usually what happens is a movie will come out or episode of something will come out, we'll watch it, and then we'll call each other and talk to each other for about an hour arguing on whether we think that it was shit or not shit. And the majority of the time it's one person is on one side, one person is on the other side. So I think the most recent one was Ant-Man Quantumania, and we both saw it. I had my take, a hot take, if you will, and Sean had his take, and we basically were just going back and forth. I looked down at my phone. It was like, I don't know, like 58 minutes, and I was like, that's kind of crazy. And then the next day I told him, I was like, hey man, like we should just start recording these arguments and let people literally take sides.
Yeah, it's hilarious too, because I feel like every time Savannah and I would go see like an MCU movie or something like that, legitimately her and I would be on the way home and one of us would call the other one to see what the other thought. Yeah, it was like a habitual thing.
Yeah, and I mean, well, what the goal of this podcast is going to be is basically we're going to try and make it active for the viewers too. So like with our social pages, like we're going to have weekly polls that we'll put up, and that'll be like hinting towards what the new episode will be about, like what we'll be arguing on. Like we'll get everyone's takes, and we'll have like multiple ones throughout the week. Like, so like if we're doing like MCU, for example, we were going through phases, and we would put like movies, and we're basically going to put things like comparing them to each other and like who thinks what, and then we'll just have a script of us going down each one and basically giving our takes on it. And it won't just be like movies. We're planning on doing some comic books, TV shows, stuff like that. And that's basically the plan for what we're thinking.
Yeah, just general pop culture and kind of like nerd culture can cover anything. Some things that, sometimes don't get covered in podcasts like this, I think, are like Lord of the Rings, maybe, and like Harry Potter, which Harry and I both happen to be huge fans of. So we'll talk some shit. I wish we would have started this this whole thing when the Rings of Power came out for Lord of the Rings. So that was an absolute shit show. We would have had a lot to talk about.
Someone be rolling in their grave right now if they saw what happened.
Oh, my man Tolkien.
Yeah,
Jesus Christ.
It's pretty funny.
Thank God he's not around to see us. Anyway, but yeah, so yeah, we're super hyped to bring this to you guys. We've been working on it. Well, not really working on it, but we've just been talking shit about it for at least a month. So it feels really dope to kind of get it started and see some of it come to fruition. I think probably the coolest moment so far was that night that I got that logo made and I sent it to you, and
Yeah.
it was like,
Yeah,
oh,
that
it's kind of
logo is
real
so
now.
cool.
This
Yeah.
shit's kind of real.
We had a
Um,
couple, and we might post them later on, just because like
oh
we
my
we didn't mess with them, and like so we're kind of going back and forth on them. But some of them are kind of funny. I mean, I didn't like a
like
good
haha
amount of them.
funny.
Yeah, there is some, but yeah, once we got that, once you sent me that logo and I saw it for the first time, I was like, yeah, that's cool. Like that's something you put on a t-shirt, or that's something that you could see at a stand at Comic-Con near you one day.
Hell yeah. Let's
But
not
yeah,
forget.
that
Let's
was
not
really cool.
forget. Ryan mentioned the goals of this podcast. Let's not forget the real goals, so we can both quit our fucking job.
Yeah, that'd be pretty awesome. And so that we can bring all the Nerdcast podcast family members out to one of the Comic-Cons one day. That'd be sweet. We get a stand there
Absolutely, absolutely. Come.
so I can
That's
fangirl over
That's
everything.
literally maybe a year from now, tops.
I was
Maybe a year
thinking like
from now,
2.5
tops.
months.
So, I mean, shit. You know what I'm saying? Shit. So just to kind of get into something a little bit nerd related for this first one, I was thinking maybe we each list our top 5 MCU movies, and
Okay.
I think we go top 5 MCU movies, not excluding the Avengers movies like we normally do, just because.
Okay, so
Um,
Avengers are in.
yeah, I think Avengers should be in for this one, just because if we if we exclude the Avengers movies again, I feel like we're gonna get into another really long, drawn out conversation. And this one was supposed to be short. This one was supposed to be a shorter
Yeah, it's
one.
just supposed to be just the introduction, but we're getting right into it. Okay.
Yeah, I say we just dive into a little bit of nerd stuff.
Okay.
Do you want to start? Or you want me to start?
Do you have yours ready?
Oh, absolutely. I could
Okay.
always. I could start off my list right now at number 1, or do you want to go 5 through 1?
Let's go 5 through 1.
5 through 1. Okay, that's a little more. That's a little more challenging. Okay, I'm gonna say my number 5 overall. Let's see. I would say Captain America: The First Avenger, number 5 overall for me. Actually, no, I'm gonna go back on that. I'm gonna say Black Panther 1. Black Panther 1, number 5 for me.
Okay. I'll take that one. That one's better.
What's
Yeah.
your number 5?
Number 5, I think I'm gonna go. I'm thinking Guardians of the Galaxy 1.
Guardians 1
I
is
think I think
very good.
I think that's my 5, because if we're including Avengers movies,
That's gonna
standalone
that's gonna
Guardians
cut
is
in
that's
like
a
the top 3
strong.
basically.
Yeah. Guardians is a strong standalone movie. I really liked it. I loved. If you want to talk about pop culture, the music was awesome. The soundtrack was insane. I'm pretty sure the
The
soundtrack
soundtracks for
like
the
had like.
Guardians movies are always fire.
I'm pretty sure the first one though, didn't it like have like a award or something? It was. I know that they won something for it, but it was awesome. It was like on the
I'm
top
not sure.
charts for streaming for a long time. That was just a great movie. And it's like
You
one of those
can't see it.
movies
I have the
too.
vinyl for it though. It's
Yeah,
on my wall right next to me.
it's like one of those movies too where like they introduce characters that normal, like if you're just watching the movies, you never read comic books or anything, like you would have never known those characters existed, and they became so popular like overnight. Like that movie hit. It was such a like good experience. It wasn't just like for adults, like families, kids loved that movie, and it was just, you had instant stars. And of course when you have Chris Pratt running the lead on that, you're gonna get lots of fandom. So
Yeah, I think one of the things about that movie that was, you know, very surprising too is that not just that like the characters are obviously very unknown, like nobody knew who the Guardians of the
mhm.
Galaxy were unless you're like a big comic book fan, but like normies that are just going out to the movie theater, like Savannah, she goes out to the movie theater with me, and she's like, she has no idea who the hell the Guardians are until the movies come out.
Yeah,
Um,
yeah.
but like Dave Bautista, I think the
Oh,
comic relief
awesome.
that he brought
Awesome.
to that series, specifically in the team up movies, like with the Avengers and stuff, like
Yes,
he is
yes.
so
Just
freaking good
random
in those
one-liners. Like
movies.
he's not even a part of the scheme of things. He's just there. And
Yeah.
which kind of sucks. We've talked about this before, is that they kind of did Drax the Destroyer dirty in these movies because he was actually
Oh, they
pretty
fucked my
strong.
boy.
Yeah, he was actually
They
pretty
fucked him
strong, but
up.
they made him like a punching bag and like comedic relief in these movies, which is fine. Like I mean, he plays a great role for it. I mean, he
Someone's gotta play that role, I guess, right?
yeah, I guess someone has to be the comedic relief, but pretty much all the Guardians are all comedic relief. As soon as you
Yeah,
start
pretty
them
much.
pairing them up with like Avengers movies and stuff, or like any type of group movie, all those characters are comedic relief.
Yeah, Gamora is the only one that's pretty serious most of the time.
Yeah, they had a strong like cast for that movie too. Like the actual cast for that movie was pretty solid. Like you had Bradley Cooper, you had Vin Diesel, Chris Pratt. You had some power hitters, and then in the second one, obviously you have Jeff Bridge. Is it Bridges? Jeff Bridges?
Um,
Pretty sure that's his last name.
damn, I can't remember
As
his
the
last
dad,
name.
I thought that was
Patrick
him.
Swayze. No,
Oh
wait,
no,
Patrick Swayze.
it's not. It's
Is
not
it
Jeff
Patrick
Bridges. I'm
Swayze?
mistaken. I have to
Jeff
look that
Bridges
up
is the
now.
villain for the first Iron Man movie.
Yes. That's Jeff
That's
Bridges.
the dude. That's the Big Lebowski. They picked fucking the Big Lebowski to be the first villain in an Iron Man movie.
Yes.
Actually ridiculous.
That's funny.
That just made me think of a great poll question for next week. I won't ruin the surprise. I'll tell you after we're done recording.
Yeah, we're gonna try and do. I think what we're gonna try and do is probably like a maybe a poll every other day leading up to, and I think we're going to try to once we get like more established for a schedule. I think what we will try to do is like record on a weekend and try and publish something Sunday night or Monday morning, so that way if you guys are like driving to work or whatever, you guys have that episode for that week for you to be able to listen to.
Yeah, that's how I am with my podcast. Like on my way to work, that's all I listen to is
Absolutely.
podcasts. You know, it's the only way I can get through
I
the drive.
feel like that's how you know you're getting into your middle age, when you're a boomer and you stop listening to music and you just listen to idiots talk about things.
What is even music? That shit's way too loud for me. I'm trying to be in bed by 9 p.m. Like I don't have time for all this. Got no time. No time
That's
to listen
great.
to that fucking loud ass shit.
All right.
All right. So number 4 then. That number
Yeah,
4
number
is a big
4.
one now because pretty much the top 3 for both of us, I can almost guarantee are going to be Avengers. So this is the last
Yeah, I
standalone.
know. I think our number 4s are gonna be exactly the same. Because this would
It's
be
a
my number
toss up
1
for
if it
me.
was standalone.
That's true. It's a toss
This
up
would
for
be.
me, but I'm going with Civil War, even though it's a
Oh no,
pseudo.
I was different,
Are you going
but
Winter
that's a great
Soldier?
one. Wait, which one did you say? You said.
I said Civil War. Captain America Civil
Oh,
War. That's a pseudo Avengers movie
I mean, no, that's a solid pick. It's just so hard because I've never done it with the actual Avengers movies in
with
it,
the
so it's
Avengers
very
movies in
hard
it. Yeah.
for me to rank them, because I was gonna say Iron Man, but that's my favorite standalone movie. Because then I was
Yeah.
gonna
Number 1 the first Iron Man is insane.
it's if you were to
It
put
holds
me up
up.
against a wall, that would probably be my favorite
Oh, I'm gonna put
Marvel
you up
movie
against the wall.
standalone. So that's why it's kind of hard, because if we were just going to do a top of the list, like that would have been number 1 by far.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
Civil War is a solid. That's I mean, obviously I'm a huge Spider-Man fan. Like Spider-Man's my favorite. So that's a huge one for me because obviously it's first
I
time
just
introduced.
I don't think I've ever been as hype for a movie was like after Winter Soldier leading up to Civil War. And then they
Yes.
released that freaking trailer with Spider-Man taking Captain America's shield.
Yeah, it's unreal.
The amount of hype that built, like,
And I think with that
it was
movie,
insane.
the best part of it is the storytelling. Like it didn't seem like it was that crazy of a long movie, but they went so in depth with like the story of everything. Like they went even the backstory with Spider-Man. Like, they had to come up with it quick. And they had Tony Stark go to his house, and they showed like clips of him on YouTube and stuff like that. Like that was a really cool and innovative way to introduce a character before his movie came out. because his movie didn't come out. That was in 2016. His movie didn't come out. A single movie didn't come out until 2017, a year later. So for them to be able to put all of that and introduce a new character, which it's not really a new character. I mean, everyone that's been a part of any type of superhero movies over the last 2 decades has seen a Spider-Man movie before, but to introduce him into the MCU when it's a separate Spider-Man, that was impressive because I felt like it didn't skip a beat. Like I was just like, yep, that's Spider-Man. Like he's in. And
Yeah,
I thought
and
that was
then
cool.
also, that one is like you said, one is big as um Spider-Man, right? Like arguably the biggest character in Marvel. Like that's like
Yeah, he's definitely up
Marvel's
there.
Batman, right? So
Yeah,
like
yeah.
that's the most popular character in Marvel. But they also in that movie introduced Black Panther. And Black
Yeah, oh yeah,
Panther
that's
to
right. That's
me,
right.
Black Panther was more badass in that movie than he
Oh,
was
I
in
agree.
almost any other movie that they
They
had
made him
Black
they made
Panther
him
in.
look super strong in that movie, super scary, super
Yeah,
like
he
on his
fought
own
Winter
path, like he
Soldier
was
with no suit.
aggressive. Yeah.
He was a
Yeah, in
badass.
the cafeteria. Yep.
Yep. And they
And he
kind
won.
of
And he won that fight.
yeah, absolutely. And they kind of pussified him a little bit in
Yeah,
his
that's
own movie, but
my biggest gripe with that movie is the that's why it's like it's such a like Black Panther 1 is a very, very well made film. It's good. The character building is awesome. The characters that they have are great. The cast is really good. My biggest thing at that is that the villain that they chose to do, like I feel like a lot of these Marvel movies, which once again, like it's a tough decision to make because the biggest thing is when they first introduce a character for their first standalone movie, the character that they use as the villain sets the tone for that character's ability to basically do anything in the MCU from there on out. And some of the movies throughout the last decade, some have had really good first villains, and some have had kind of just like super low tier, and they made them look so strong in the movie and made the character look like if you knew in the comics, and made the character look weak, and it's like kind of annoying in a sense. Like, I mean, like for Black Panther, and they just took away his powers and stuff. That was just I, I wasn't the biggest fan of that storyline, to be honest.
that was the biggest problem with Black Panther, in my opinion, was the plot. Like the plot wasn't
Yes,
that good. The character, the
Killmonger is
whole
great.
reason, yeah, that was gonna say the whole reason that I think that movie was good. Like I'll consider it a good movie, and I put it as number 5 was because Chadwick Boseman and Michael
Yeah,
B.
and
Jordan
Michael B.
kind of like
Jordan.
they both just
Mhm.
carry the fucking movie on their back.
Oh
Like
yeah, it's
they're
just the
both
way that they
super
do it. I agree.
charismatic. Yeah, both
Yes.
super charismatic. They just did a good job portraying the characters. The writing did them no favors though, because like I said,
Mm-mm.
they like pussified T'Challa in that movie compared to his character in like Civil War. And then when
Right.
you see him in again, and even when you see him again, like Endgame, he's even he's even I don't know, like the Russo brothers just wrote him better, like wrote his dialogue better.
Oh, in
Um
Civil War, yes.
in Civil War and in Endgame.
Yeah, I agree. I agree.
Or not
Yeah,
Endgame, sorry, Infinity War.
Infinity. Yeah,
Yeah.
I agree with that. I think that in Civil War he was very strong because I mean he fought Captain America, he fought Winter Soldier. Oh no, not Captain America, Winter Soldier. He fought Winter Soldier. He got into some
Well, he does get into a little scuffle with Steve Rogers and Captain America. Like he got into a little scuffle. He scratches
when he
the shield.
scratched his shield, but they didn't really fight. He was more so going after Winter Soldier, Bucky, but
Right. Yeah,
I
yeah.
mean, they made him basically toe to toe with them, and I mean, he should be, and he's probably a little bit stronger, to be honest, than Winter Soldier. He should be able to take that out, no problem.
Yeah, I think he,
Because Winter
I
Soldier is
think
just as good as the serum, but Black Panther has the ability, like he has agility, he has all the kung fu, he has any type of animal traits that he wants, like he has all kinds of stuff that they
I
just
mean
didn't even tap into.
the suit alone
Yeah,
is like
that momentum suit that they made for Infinity War was
Yeah, shit was
So
broken.
gas. So cool.
Shit was hella
So
broken.
cool.
My man was in Endgame when he's got the gauntlet and he's running through all those people and he's just
Yes.
fucking exploding his shit around.
Dude,
Like,
just yes. So cool. So cool.
oh man, that shit was hard. All right, we're getting ahead of ourselves a little bit,
Yes,
jumping
yes,
straight
we
to
are.
Endgame.
Yes, we are. This is supposed to be
But
a
yeah,
teaser. It's
so
supposed to be a teaser.
yeah, so mine is mine's Civil War, and
That's
then
your
where were you
4,
going with
right?
yours? That's my
Or is that
4,
your
yeah.
3? Okay.
No,
Well,
that's my 4.
oh, and my 4 was the original Iron Man. That's right. Yeah,
Original
because
Iron Man. Yeah,
yeah, the
we
original
kind of
Iron
touched
Man,
on that
like
already.
toe to toe. You put that movie toe to toe with any of the single hero
Standalones.
movies, standalones.
Yeah.
It's not even close. It's
Especially
not
like the
even
origin
close.
ones, like where they show the origin of the hero and stuff. Like
Honestly,
there's not a single one that comes close.
even some of the Avengers movies, I'd put it above it. Like it's that good as far as
It's
storytelling
better than Age
goes,
of Ultron.
plot. Yeah, it's better than Age of Ultron. I think it's better than the first Avengers. I think Iron Man, the original one, is better than the first Avengers. I think the first Avengers is very good, but I think that they put a lot. I mean,
Oh
obviously the
man, I
best
don't know.
part of that movie is
I
Loki.
love the first Avengers a lot.
Yeah, the best part about the first Avengers is Loki himself. I mean, he's
Dude,
just
Loki is insane.
so
Loki
so
is
good,
such a good villain.
so
Such
good.
a
And
good
then
villain.
they did my poor man dirty. They did him dirty.
Yo, the Loki show?
Yeah,
Jesus. Oh, don't get me
don't
started.
get me started on the TV shows
We're
yet.
talking about shit we love right now. Wait till you hear us start talking about the shit
Oh,
we
it's gonna
hate.
get
Oh my
real
god.
negative real quick.
We finna
MCU
be
does a lot of
canceled.
good, but they do a lot more bad right now. Come of recent, it's been rough out here as a fan.
Hey, well, we'll do a whole podcast on Captain Marvel, man.
We should do uh top 5. We could actually do top 10 worst productions that MCU's produced. I
Bitch,
could do some good ones.
the Incredible Hulk son at the end of
Oh my
She-Hulk.
gosh.
That could
Oh,
be an hour-long podcast by itself.
so bad, so bad. But
All
yeah,
right, so
Iron Man's definitely my number 4, which is tough because you said Civil War, and when I think about standalone movies as well, I think that Captain America Winter Soldier is probably my second favorite standalone. When it's not really a standalone, but it is at the same time because it's his movie.
yeah, like technically it is, but
But
also not.
technically, Civil War is Captain America movie too. But I consider Civil War more of an Avengers style movie because it has so many heroes in it. But Captain America Winter Soldier's right behind Iron Man for a standalone.
Yeah, and I think my number 3 is going to be a little controversial just because of that. So my number 3 is going to be Winter Soldier. I'm going to put Captain America and the Winter Soldier ahead of Civil War.
Okay.
And that's
Okay.
just because it gets there. Like, it's, to me, in my opinion, it's just as good as Civil War is, but it doesn't have a billion cameos from Black Panther, Spider-Man. Like, it literally gets there off the chemistry between Captain America and Black Widow. And I mean,
Okay.
let's be real, ScarJo's Bay. So
Yeah, yeah. ScarJo and her first like 5 movies was kind of
bruh.
ridiculous. That
Scene that she's in,
I like it. Like I don't dislike it. It's just hard when you have some of these Avengers movies, and even like I think I might have changed some of mine now that I'm going through it because there's some really 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 good movies.
I've definitely changed mine since the last time I've talked about this. I'm going
Yeah,
off
because
of straight memory right now,
Captain
but
America Winter Soldier, in my opinion, is once again right behind Iron Man for a standalone movies. I would still put Civil War above it because I would say like when it comes to excitement from when I went to go see these or when I first saw the trailer of them, like you said, Captain America Winter Soldier was cool. Everyone thought it was going to be like we saw the trailers, we thought it was cool. Can't wait for another Steve Rogers film. All about it. When they showed Civil War and they showed all of the heroes together and all the new heroes that were coming out, like it was kind of like, this is for real. Like they're setting up for Endgame or Infinity War. Like that's when you kind of got the first taste of it, of seeing all those heroes together. So that's why I think that I would put it above. But I mean, it's a hard choice. They're both hand in hand movies, because Winter Soldier, there's so much depth that goes into Winter Soldier, and the storyline of like the creation of Shield, like all of that stuff is all tied in, and Hydra, all of that's tied into that movie. So
Yeah,
it's a tough
you
one.
can't really beat that. Like it's tough to beat that scene
Hmm.
when, like we talked about earlier, Spider-Man taking the shield from Cap.
Yeah,
Like
that's
that shit
and you
was
see the
so
power
hype.
spikes. You see like power spikes for like Wanda Vision. Like you actually kind of start to see them kind of at their ability to fight each other toe to toe. Like you kind of see where their power levels are together. Because that was one of the like obviously one of the coolest scenes in my opinion in MCU is literally when they're on at the airport and they're all charging each other, and then all the heroes jump in their own like whatever their fashion there is. Like you have Vision flying, you have Iron Man flying, you have Spider-Man swinging, you have Black Panther running, you have Scarlett Johansson, which I don't know why she's in the mix, running. You have Hawkeye.
About to
I
get
don't know
fucking
why he's I don't know
obliterated
why
by
he's in the
War
mix.
Machine.
Yeah, yeah, I don't know why he's in the mix running. Like, so like you have like that scene is very tough to beat. Because that's like technically the first scene where you see all of those heroes at like to date on the same stage before Infinity War, essentially. Like it's the first time
Yeah,
you see them all together, which is, and they're all fighting, which is even cooler.
yeah. I think you're right. Like I think I don't know. I'm purely going with Civil War over it, or I mean not Civil War, Winter
Winter Soldier
Soldier,
over. Oh
just
yeah.
because the character work I think is just a little bit
Hmm.
better because they don't have so much spectacle to worry about. Like they don't. The one thing that I will give story wise for Civil War over Winter Soldier is the conflict between Steve and Iron Man is actually pretty emotional. Like
Oh yeah,
watching them
the
fight at
end
the
scene.
end.
Oh, yeah. Oh yeah. And
Yeah, that shit's
kind of sets everything up too, because it sets up how they're all separated during Infinity War, like how like it definitely changes the whole scheme of the heroes. Like that is a huge division for all of them.
yeah for sure.
And the
All
Sokovian
right.
Accords, like all that stuff, like
The
well, it shows how
Sokovia
it shows
Accords, dude. Yeah, that shit.
yeah.
That they
It shows
brought
how
that shit in
strong
such a good way from
Wanda
Avengers too.
is. Oh
Yep.
yeah, shows how strong she is. That like there's just a lot to unpack in Civil War, which I think that they tried to push as much as they could, because they knew that the next time all of them would be together was going to be an Endgame or Infinity War. So they kind of had to like get a lot of those stories. And that's why when you're talking about like the cameos of them, like all these different heroes getting their like little spotlights, because they had to form their character, personality, everything, and try and get them so when Infinity War comes out, they didn't have to do that, because obviously Infinity War is just
Yeah.
another level of itself. But no, I mean, I like the Captain America Winter Soldier, the scene, like the opening scene when they're on the boat. That's one of the coolest. That's one of the coolest like realism for the MCU, where it shows like Captain America just like doing kind of what he did when he was in the 40s during World War II, but now he's doing like modern spec ops missions for the government, which was really cool.
Man,
Like he went on that.
bitch, they
That was
they turned
awesome.
fucking Captain America into fucking a COD player, bro. He
Oh yeah,
he,
dude. When he's
he
running
ran
on
that
that
shit
boat and
like he
just
was fucking
slapping people off, like that's so cool. So cool. And then
that
the
shit.
fight that he has, that's
I
it is
swear
a
to
very
God, they
very good
stole
movie.
that scene from like SOCOM Navy SEALs fucking
Yeah.
PS2 video game.
No, they stole it from like Tom Clancy's Jack Ryan or something. Like,
Absolutely,
like
absolutely. They turn my boy fucking Steve Rogers into Sam Fisher.
but it was cool because like in that movie, like now that I'm thinking about that scene, like they even had him like use actual gadgets, which obviously if you know Steve Rogers from what they portray with him within the first Captain America and the first Avengers, like he's like a straight up old head, like doesn't do good with technology. He's straight like paper pen, like
Yeah,
when
he's a
um
fucking he's a boomer.
Right, but in that movie, like in the opening scene, he was using spy equipment. Like when he jumped onto the boat, when he cleared off a couple people, he threw the recording device on the window and like had like the sticky thing on it. It was like a
Hmm.
sticky grenade almost. He had that. He went to the computer room because he was going to download files, but then Black Widow was there. Like it was kind of cool. He was evolving into a modern day Captain America, which is pretty cool.
Yeah, I agree. I love that movie. Um, that movie was the one that kind of got me back into the MCU because I had watched the Avengers and I was into it and
Hmm.
stuff like that, but I was still more into like the old comics and the old cartoons, like the 90s X-Men shit. Like that's about as far as the Marvel universe that I got into. I kind of thought the movies were a little overproduced, but I watched Civil War or not Civil War, Winter Soldier. It kind of brought me back into it. I went back and rewatched like Avengers 1 and
Hmm.
watched all the old movies again and got super into it. And then by the time I was done with Winter Soldier, I was so fucking ready for Civil War.
Yeah, Winter Soldier is very, very, very good. I mean, I find myself watching when I go back through the series, like obviously I'll go through like a couple months without watching one, and then I'll just watch everything, and I'll always find myself rewatching Winter Soldier or Iron Man more than any other one, just
Yeah,
because
you're
they're
right.
that good.
I think Infinity War and Iron Man 1 are probably the ones I rewatch the most.
Yeah, well, Infinity War is just
Yeah, it's
another
Infinity War's
another level.
cheating. Um,
Yeah.
all right, so number 2
No, I
for
think I have
me.
my. I think I have to do. I think I have to do my three.
Oh, you didn't do your 3 yet? Oh my
I don't
god.
think so. Yeah, we're just going.
Ooh.
We're just going back and forth. Three's tough for me. Three's very tough for me because I want to say Shang-Chi. I'm just kidding. I'm just kidding.
You're trying to make this a fucking a 2-hour long podcast.
I think this one's the hardest for me because one and two is kind of set, but I think for number three, I'm gonna do. I think I'm gonna do Spider-Man No Way Home.
I was wondering. I was like, when is
I think
fucking
that's gonna be my
Spider-Man
third.
gonna
I
make it
think
into
as far
your
because like
list?
if anyone knows me, I am a Spider-Man fangirl. Like that is my dude.
Tell
Like
him what your
all
dog's
of
name is.
all of them. My dog's name is Peter Parker. Like I am like through and through Spider-Man fan. Like all Spider-Man. Like I loved Tobey Maguire. Andrew Garfield, in my opinion, was the best Spider-Man with Amazing Spider-Mans. I loved those. Very
He
sad
stole the
when
show in No Way Home. Just
yeah,
absolutely steals the show.
I was so sad when Andrew Garfield and Sony dropped the contract for Spider-Man for the Amazing Spider-Man series because he was supposed to do 4 movies. They only did 2. Heartbroken. And then if you watch any of his videos of him like on talk shows and stuff, when they took away like they asked him like, "Oh, how do you feel?" and he was like so upset, like all I want to do is wear the suit. But then obviously with um the new Spider-Man, like he's cool too. Like I don't have anything against him. He's just a little kiddish in my opinion for him, but that's fine. He's like too, in my opinion, the new Spider-Man's too reliant on others when the whole point of Spider-Man is like a cocky teenager and like I don't need help from anybody and I just want to play. I just want to play with everybody. Like if you're attacking me, it's a fun game. Like that's Spider-Man. And this one and the new one, I just feel like he's Iron Man, save me. I did something wrong.
That's the piece I think I miss the
Help
most
help
from
me.
this Tom Holland Spider-Man is the sense of humor, the jokes, the
Yeah,
constant joking.
he has
Andrew
no
Garfield was
jokes.
really good about
The
that.
best.
It's kind of the writing too, you know what I mean? Like the
It's
writers for that
it's
Spider-Man
definitely
knew
it
that was part
definitely
of the
has to do with
character.
that. I think that it does have to do with that, but Tom Holland in general, just like he's not if he was doing funny scenes, like I mean, I guess once again, like the writing, like he's already been portrayed in the light, so it's hard for me to see it. But like the best example I can give you is in the first Amazing Spider-Man with Andrew Garfield when he's going through, and this is like um, the best like comic book to movie portrayal that I've seen for Spider-Man in any Spider-Man movie is when in the first movie for Amazing Spider-Man. Andrew Garfield, he's looking for the killer that killed his uncle, and he's going through and he's hunting down a blonde haired guy that has a star tattoo on his wrist, and he thinks that he found one. And basically, he's in a car parking lot, and the guy gets in the car. He's in the guy's trying to steal the car. Andrew Garfield gets in the car. He tries he's messing with him. He's sitting behind the back seat. He's going, and then Andrew Garfield startles him, and he's like trying to get out. And he's like slamming the door back, slamming the door back, slamming the door back. And then they get out of the car, and then Andrew Garfield's like laughing, like webbing him, like he like shoots webs at his nuts and stuff. And like he's joking. He's like literally playing with a villain or a bad guy that has a knife and a gun, and he's literally just playing with him like he's a toy and like making jokes and stuff. And that's what Spider-Man was in the comics. Like he's very kiddish. Like he's there to have fun. Like he's there to save people, but he's also there to have fun. And like the new Tom Holland type of Spider-Man that they've created, it's more of just like he's like the son of Tony Stark. Like that's kind of the portrayal that they've done. Like Peter didn't have a dad because he had Uncle Ben, and Uncle Ben dies. Tony didn't have a son, and basically they just like merged them into the MCU as like one. And like when you see like Far From Home, when Tom Holland starts to make a suit for the first time, and Happy starts to tear up because he's like, okay, he's literally Tony Stark 2.0. That's kind of my I could go on and on for about Spider-Man, but No Way Home is awesome because you have everything going on there. This is in my opinion is another Avengers style movie because you have 4 different villains, you have 3 different versions of Spider-Man come. The multiverse is live and well. Now they know everything about the multiverse. It opens everything up. It opens all these different characters are able to come from different realities. And it's very cool. I mean, the villains are awesome. Like you get William Dafoe back, and William Dafoe is just unreal. The coolest. Like I was very upset with the poll this week, by the way, everybody. You guys all said the Joker, which I mean, it was great by Heath Ledger, but come on, William Dafoe, like he's out here looks like a goblin even before he becomes one.
Yeah, he literally does.
He literally was the perfect person for that role. He literally looks like a goblin. But yeah, the comedic relief in this and No Way Home, blown out. When I saw all three of them swinging together in that one of that final scene, they're going at that tower, and all the villains are there, and they're all just like swinging off each other and web slinging. Like, come on, like that's just ridiculous.
9-year-old me would have fucking creamed his pants.
That is just ridiculously cool. Ridiculously cool.
9-year-old me, that's so like cool. the most I can hope for is to fucking get a double episode on Fox Kids on fucking Saturday morning. These fucking kids nowadays got fucking 3 Spider-Men. Literally graphics swinging around fighting all the villains.
And it's so funny because I've had this argument with so many people about like who's the favorite Spider-Man, and most people that just start watching Marvel and stuff like that will say it's Tom Holland because like that's the Spider-Man that they know. And then some people will say Tobey Maguire, which I don't think Tobey Maguire was bad, but Tobey Maguire was just the way that they did like his age and like the time of his life as Spider-Man was just kind of a weird portrayal, because the majority of the times in the comics, like you see a lot of Spider-Man in high school or just becoming an intern at the Daily Bugle, and they kind of went like far, like way past that in the 3 movies that Tobey Maguire did. But I always would say Andrew Garfield, and people would be like, and then of course in this new movie, No Way Home, he's literally the star of the show, and everyone's like, oh, he was pretty good. And I was like, yeah, he's literally the best Spider-Man. He's literally the best portrayal. And I wish that they would have kept him.
Yeah, Andrew Garfield really did steal the show.
He was so good.
He was really good.
The only thing that sucks is that second movie that they did was like the Hobgoblin that they made was not great. Jamie Foxx's character Electro was cool, but I don't know. They should just kept Electro as the main villain in that movie, and it would have been. They actually fix
the problems with Electro in No Way Home.
and No Way Home. Yeah.
Yeah, they actually fixed those problems, so it makes you go, dude, son of a bitch. If they just would have had a good director / writer
Yeah.
for that Amazing Spider-Man #2, like everything would have been good. But
Yeah, like an Amazing
so
Spider-Man 2, when you have the scene in Times Square, that scene is so cool. And then the movie kind of
mhm.
goes downhill after that. Like that scene is very like that scene made the movie so promising. I was like, oh, this is gonna be serious. And then you get to like the final like 35-40 minutes of the movie, and you're just like, yikes,
Yeah,
yikes,
I think
yikes, yikes.
I think that uh if Toby would have had like a similar, or not Toby, Andrew Garfield, if his movies would have had like a similar support as like these ones did,
Mhm.
they would have been just as good.
Oh yeah.
Um
The first one wasn't bad. I like the first one.
no,
First one wasn't
first one
bad.
was straight. First one was straight.
The cool scene where they had like the POV of like him swinging and then like he like lands onto like the glass building and you see his suit for the first time. So badass.
I actually really like his suit too.
Yeah, that suit is awesome. Amazing Spider-Man
The
suit's
thing
so
the thing I
cool.
like about this new suit though is that the eyes move.
Oh yeah, yeah. Well, I mean, the suits that Tom Holland has is not even fair. I mean, his
Yeah.
Iron Spider. He has
No, like
the
even his just original, like his
yeah, the
like
electric
baseline
eyes.
suit or
Yeah.
whatever with the
Hmm.
eyes moving up and down. Like I
Yeah.
thought that was a cool touch because that's how it is in the cartoon. So I'm kind of a
Hmm.
sucker for that.
Yeah.
So
No, I
but
agree.
yeah, so that's your number three?
That's my number
Or is
three.
that
So,
your
yeah, so
number
that was my
three?
number. That was
Okay.
my number three.
Okay. So on to number two then. This is a tough one for me. Um I'm gonna have to say though, it's gotta be Avengers #1. Off
Really?
off the fucking back of Loki.
Yeah, I mean, Loki
Loki
is just unreal. They did him dirty after that
Loki as a
movie, but
villain in that movie before
so
they
cool.
fucking turned him into a beta cuck in the Loki show.
Or even after, even some of the movies after, they made him into kind of a bitch.
Yeah. Yeah. The Thor movies don't really do him any justice either. Uh in
No,
Ragnarok they kind of bring him back to being like a likable asshole.
yeah, Ragnarok, they kind of formed him into an actual like anti-hero more so
Yeah.
instead of
But
like a
yeah,
villain.
so Avengers 1, that's the shit that does it for me. Like dude, so there's just so many cool scenes, like the iconic, New York City scene where they're like all kind of like in that circle and the
Oh yeah.
cameras panning around them and you got all the heroes there. I think arguably I might get roasted for this. Thank God nobody watches this shit yet. One of the best one of the best scenes in MCU history is when Black Widow goes to interrogate Loki when he's in the chamber, and Loki thinks that he's switching shit around on Black Widow and making her like sad
Oh
by
yes.
like talking all that shit. And Black Widow actually was just fucking baiting him to
Yeah. And to giving him what his plan was.
giving up the plan. And then she starts to pretend like she's crying, and she turns around and goes, "Thank you for your cooperation,
Yeah.
bruh." That
Yeah, that was
shit was
cool.
hard.
That scene was cool. Like the coolest part about the Avengers, the first one, is like if you ever played any of the Ultimate Alliance video games, like you can play like
Of
all the
course.
heroes together. Um one of the iconic moves with uh Iron Man and Captain America is when Iron Man shoots his beam on Captain America's shield, and then he just like spreads it around, and they do that in the middle of the circle, and it was so cool. Like Iron Man's literally
Yep.
flying, like they're fighting. Iron Man drops the floor, like out of frame, drops the floor, like kill, like they kill like 3 or 4 aliens, and then he just flies off, and Captain America's still fighting. So cool. And then the
Bro,
forest scene, the forest
when Thor
scene.
charges up Iron Man.
Yeah, the forest scene is ridiculously cool, and then but that's when they kind of like set the tone for how strong Captain America is. Like he took the blow from Thor, and like the whole forest just disintegrated essentially.
Yeah. Yeah. That was when
But no,
Thor was
there's a
like,
lot of there's a lot of great scenes in that movie. That forest scene actually might be one of my favorites. Like when Captain America is in and Iron Man drops, Thor drops, and Black Widow's like, you should probably sit this one out, Cap. They're basically gods. And he's like, there's only one god, ma'am. And I don't think he wears a cape. And he jumps out. That was such a great scene. It's like, there's only one god. There's only one god, ma'am. And I don't think he wears a cape. Or it's like, I don't think he dresses, or I don't think he wears tights. Something like that along this line.
Yeah, he says some shit like that. I don't think he dresses like that.
It's so funny.
I love that
It's
scene.
like boom, roasted.
Fucking roasted his dumb ass. There's only one god, ma'am.
Oh, it's so funny.
That was fucking funny as hell.
That's a good choice. It's I like that movie a lot.
I'm gonna have to actually go back and watch that now after
Yeah,
this is over.
it's a good one. I just don't know if I can place it that high. You mentioned Ragnarok. Ragnarok's another great standalone movie. That movie gives power spikes. That movie
People talk a lot of shit about that movie because of all the comic relief, but the comedy lands for me in that movie.
I think that they did a good job. I think they did a good job in that movie because they did power spikes of both characters. Like Hulk got his power spike, even though it became irrelevant, but Hulk got his power spike, and then Thor got his huge power spike, which was awesome to see. And Hela was a great villain. Like she was a great villain.
Insane villain.
So super cool. Like she's a villain that could have been like a multi-hero threat. Like she was very
correct me if I'm wrong. Technically, she's not dead.
No, I don't think she is.
She's just trapped. Well,
she just fought
Ragnarok.
She fought. Well, Ragnarok got destroyed by Asgard. Asgard got destroyed, which is what Ragnarok is when the I forgot his name, but the fire god basically put his sword in it or whatever, and she stood to fight. So they never showed her die technically.
Yeah,
which I don't
even know.
I
don't even know if
she can die. I don't even know if she can die. I don't think she's able to die.
They should bring her back.
I think that she's able to be like. I think she's able to be like trapped or something. But I don't know if she's able to die.
No, they should bring her back.
She would be kind of a cool like her and like Noel would be like a fire duo.
Yeah,
like she just wants darkness everywhere and wants to turn every place into hell.
A lot of people I remember when she came out thought she was going to be Mistress Death for Thanos.
That would be cool too.
A lot of people thought Thanos was going to like be in love with her.
R.I.P.
Not anymore, bitch.
Number two. I mean, we both have the same number one.
I have a very good feeling that we're going to have the same number one. Yeah.
Oh, 100%. There's no question. It's the best MCU. It's the best MCU movie ever produced to date, as of right now. Number two's tough. Because
could it be Endgame?
That's what my thoughts are right now.
Because I'm sitting here thinking, like, damn, Endgame's not in my top 5. Like, I should boot Black Panther out.
Endgame, I would think would be my number 2, but Endgame was very good. There's just some issues that I have with the movie that kind of bring it down a little bit. But I guess for the gravity of what it what it meant and what it did for the MCU, you kind of have to place it high. So I think I'm definitely gonna go Endgame number 2.
Yeah, I can't fault you for that. Like, there's just so many moments in that movie.
There's so much stuff that happens. Like,
Avengers Assemble finally coming out. Like,
yeah, I mean, you have. I mean, that was basically taken out of. Or no, that was Star Wars took it from Endgame. They made the same. They made the same scene.
Do not bring up Star Wars right now.
Yeah, you guys don't want that. You guys don't want that to happen. That'll be a 2-hour podcast of me and Harry almost me bitching and complaining.
Buffalo Wild Wings.
Oh my god, I was so mad. But no, I'll do Endgame number 2. A lot happened. I mean, me and you just disagree with some of the stuff that they did, like the Captain Marvel thing. I mean,
she shouldn't have been in there.
They made the character way too strong in the MCU, and she's just if she wanted to, she could have just literally, the movie would have been ended like that. Like, she could have just taken, as soon as Thanos came back, all right, Captain Marvel, No one has to come out. Go get them, and it would be that easy. Like she's that strong.
Literally.
But other than that, like the movie itself is cool. The cool fight scenes. I mean, they did cool. I do like what they did with they kind of created like the beginning of like different timelines and kind of like alluding to what the TVA will become in, like when they showed like the stones at different timelines when they go to talk to the
Yeah, the
Doctor
ancient
Strange's
one.
teacher. Yeah. And she basically tells
The
Bruce
bald
Banner, like
bitch.
shows them, yeah, she like shows them all like the timelines and where they go, like if you take something, like what will happen and stuff. So that was cool. Um the going back in time was cool. Like the when they did the Captain America and Iron Man, when they went back in time to basically his time, and he and Iron Man got to see his dad, and like those scenes were very very cool. And then obviously the fight scene is just really really good too. Um, it's just it's not as good as my number one. It's not close.
Yeah, no,
It's
I
not
mean
as
I
well written.
agree.
It's not as well written. There's too many weird plot holes in Endgame
I
versus
I
another
would
movie that I
say
watched.
that Endgame is not as good as Infinity War because spoiler alert, Infinity War is
Yeah.
going to probably be both
If
of our number ones, but
Infinity War is number one, it's not even close. It's
not
not
even
even.
close. Like
There's nothing
Endgame, my
close to
my
it.
major problem is how it sets up the rest of the MCU for failure.
Oh,
Like
100%.
it created so many problems for future MCU movies to like
Hmm.
effectively tell stories in because
Hmm.
now it's almost like nothing can be as big of a deal as
As
what
Thanos,
Thanos was gonna do.
right? When
Like,
in reality, he's not even like a top 10 power threat in the MCU. Like he's
yeah,
like,
and like Kang right now, it's like I don't give a shit about Kang. Like, does he have an Infinity Gauntlet? No, well, then he's a
right? Can he
pussy.
snap his
Like,
fingers and delete half the universe?
yeah.
Y-
So it's
I
like
I
it's
agree.
almost
I
like
agree with that. They made Thanos very, very, very strong in these movies.
it's almost
Um,
like I don't know if you ever watched like Dragon Ball Z when you were a kid, but like it's if they would have fought Majin Buu first and then introduced Frieza later. Like
yeah,
it's just the power scaling didn't work.
yeah.
But
Which hopefully they do. I mean, I have a feeling they if as long as Kevin Feige's behind it, the Avengers movies usually he does a good job. It's just these standalone movies lately are just
oh,
they're
they've
kind of
been
cooked.
cheeks.
They're
Been
kind of they're kind
absolutely
of they're kind
cheeks.
of they're kind of not well written. Just they feel rushed. They feel like they're just trying to get the hero out into the MCU as fast as possible, and they're just trying to make a quick a couple million
Dude, it's
dollars off of
just
that
hurry up
film.
and buy next product. Like that's all they want
Yeah,
us to do is just
that
hurry up
that
and buy
that
next
that's kind of
product right
where
now. It
that's
feels like it.
yeah, and I agree. Like with Endgame, with all the heroes that they did, and this is another thing. It's kind of hard because obviously you grew with the with over the last 10 years with the main heroes, like the main Avengers, and
Yeah.
now they're all starting to leave. Like Steve Rogers, like Chris Evans is
Yep.
gone. You have
Downey.
Robert Downey Jr. is gone. You're gonna have Black Widow gone. You're gonna have um
Oh, I don't even want to talk about her standalone. Jesus H.
yeah, that's
Oof.
I don't even consider that a movie, to be honest.
What the
But
fresh fuck was that shit?
there's just a lot of main characters that are going to be leaving, and now you have to have like I don't want to call them like second tier heroes, but they're the newer heroes that people don't know a lot about that are going to have to carry the MCU over the next five
They
few
gotta pull
years,
a
and it's
couple
going to
more
be tough.
Guardians of the Galaxy out of their ass.
It's gonna be tough. I mean, there's some characters that I really like Tom Holland for Spider-Man Strong. I mean, he's definitely gonna be the new face of the MCU.
Yeah.
Shang-Chi, like he's gonna be in a good amount. Paul Rudd, I don't know how long Paul Rudd will be in, but I'm assuming he's gonna be a pillar. And then Chris Hemsworth, it just depends on how long he's in. He's kind of like the last one of the mains
And
that'll
he
be in
kind of
there.
flip-flops from wanting
Yeah,
to
he
stay
says he
on
wants to
and
stay. He says he wants to leave. So
yeah.
Avengers Endgame is a bittersweet um end to a huge, huge, huge saga, a big ass series for us as you grow as you look through all these movies, like the whole
Yeah,
build up
if you
to
grew
that.
up with it, it's like how old were you when you saw the first MCU movie, right? Like
Yeah,
young.
I think the first yeah, so the first technical MCU movie is Iron Man 2008. That's number one. That Disney refers to as canon. And then
Mhm.
for somehow they include the Incredible Hulk in 2008, but I don't know how they claim that because it wasn't Disney and it's not even canon, like as far as
The
I'm
2008
concerned.
one, is that with, Edward Norton? Is that the same
Um,
one?
yeah, I believe so. I think that's with Dooms or the
Abomination?
yeah, Abomination.
Yeah, that is actually canon.
I think that that's
Um,
stupid that that's canon. I think I feel like the only reason why it's canon is because
you
Abomination.
well, yeah, and that movie came out literally, like, right after Iron Man.
Yeah, right after.
And I think that was the biggest problem. It came out after Iron Man, and people watch Iron Man 1, they're like, "Yo, this shit
This
kinda
movie's
lit."
insane. Yeah.
Then they watched Incredible Hulk, and they're like, "Okay,
This movie's shit.
what this is made by the same people? Like, what the fuck?"
Yeah. Yeah.
Um, but yeah, so
Yeah,
yeah, I agree
they
with all
made
that.
that movie canon from after the Quantumania. That's when it officially became canon in my book.
Look, I mean, you can make it not canon in your head if you want.
But to be honest, like it's obviously it's a different Hulk completely. It's when they had like I mean
Totally different.
this Hulk has lettuce flow. Like he has literally a whole head of hair. Like
Yeah,
it's kind of weird. Kind of weird.
they've gone a horrible direction with him, which,
Yeah.
we're closing in on the hour mark. I don't know if we have time to go in how bad they fucked up the Hulk.
Oh shit. Yeah,
Um,
I guess that's another day. Um so
they really fucked up the Hulk.
Endgame's my number 2. Um Great movie, some plot holes, but still an awesome emotional ending to a very,
You
very, very good. For the most part, like when you're thinking about how many movies it comprised of, like and how much actors and time and dedication it took to get to where they were, and some of the names that they have, they weren't big names up until because I feel like MCU made a lot of these character or a lot of these people into big name actors, but they still stuck around to the end. I mean, I think it's like close to like 11 or 15 movies leading up to. So I mean, that's a big commitment, and they were all there for it, which is kudos to them. Awesome, and I mean,
Yeah, they lost
it'll
very few
rival.
actors throughout that
Yeah,
saga.
it'll rival any series of all time. I mean, I can't think of anything else that it won't supersede. To be honest, with the amount of movies that they had for the universe they created, I would
I don't
say
think you'll
Harry
ever
Potter would
see
be up
another
there, but
franchise
I think
stretch
Harry
that many
Potter's up
movies.
there as far as like movies and
And
getting everyone together, but it's not even close. MCU just blows everything out.
Harry Potter's only 8 movies though,
Yeah, I know, but
which
I
is
just
still
mean like
insane,
in
don't get me
general.
wrong,
Yeah,
but,
yeah, that's
like,
still a lot of movies.
that's how incredible the MCU is when you look at
Oh
it compared
yeah.
to, like, these other big franchises, like,
Mm-hmm.
and it tells such a long story, like, it's just anyway, we'll move on to our number ones.
Yes, number one.
We'll just get it out of the way.
Drum roll.
Number 1.
I wonder if you guys can guess it. The best, coolest scene movie, all literally start to finish.
The
I don't think
fucking
I don't think
MCU
I would
GOAT.
change. I don't think I would change a single thing about this entire movie.
I
No,
wouldn't change a
actually,
single scene
I would
other
change.
than we'll get there, save it,
Okay, okay,
save it.
okay, okay, okay,
We'll
okay.
save it, we'll get there.
Okay, so opening credits, opening scene, awesome. I mean, the only
The
thing that
fucking
sucks about
telepath
that
dude is walking through. He's walking
when
over dead bodies of Asgardians.
oh yeah, and then you have the Hulk that challenges Thanos for the first time and literally gets
Gets fucking waxed.
annihilated. Literally wasn't even close to the power level that Thanos was. I mean, at that
Thanos
time,
claps them green fucking booties, man.
I believe he had one stone already. I believe he had the power stone at that point, though.
He does have the power stone at that
Yeah.
point.
So to be fair to the Hulk, in power schemes like the Infinity Stones, like they're a huge power spike. So it doesn't mean
Mhm.
that the Hulk is that weak. It just means that he was not prepared for the power that Thanos had in his hands at that moment.
And
But
also Hulk had never come across anybody that could
that could
even
beat him.
like
Yeah, that could go to toe to toe.
take a yeah, it could take a
Yeah,
blow from him outside
yeah.
of the Hulkbuster armor suit. Um,
And Thor,
but
I guess. Thor.
yeah, and Thor.
But they
But
never
outside
really
of
like
that,
fought.
No, no, not like a real like
I mean,
I'm gonna
the
kill you
only thing
fight.
is, I guess, in Avengers, like Hulk has his little pissy fit, but they're not really like fighting. The Hulk's not trying to kill him. He's just like kind of frustrated with him.
Right, yeah. But yeah, opening scene, insane. Watching Thanos fucking just absolutely clap his ass up, just fucking
And
hit
then
him with a
crush Loki's
two-piece.
throat.
Dude, kills Loki.
That
So in a
scene,
matter of the
I was
first
so
20 minutes,
surprised. Oh,
yeah,
yes.
first 20 minutes, we see the main bad guy of the first Avengers movie get fucking his neck snapped by his thumb. Crack. Then we watched the Incredible Hulk for the first time lose in one-on-one, hand-on-hand combat.
Yeah.
That's how the movie opens. Oh, and Thor is just fucking getting his cheeks clapped too.
Yeah,
So
Thor can't
yeah,
even move because Thanos just has him locked down, or is no what's his son
the
does
psychic
the
guy.
I forgot his name. I knew all of them. I'm kind of upset that I
I'm
forgot his
gonna look it
name.
up really quick.
I
It's actually gonna piss me off.
Yeah. But he locks Thor down, and you literally just watch Thanos just grip Loki by the neck and just squeeze the life out. And it was actually kind of a gruesome scene because his whole head turned purple, his eyes started bleeding, and basically like literally popped him.
Ebony Maw.
Ebony Maw, that's what it is.
Yeah, that
But
was gonna
that
bother
yeah,
the fuck out of me.
yeah, I'm glad we got that. But which
Crisis fucking
you
averted.
want to talk about power spikes for characters. They made Ebony Maw way too strong. They made him
Yo, my
way
man
too
was
strong.
clapping Doctor Strange.
Dude, he was clapping everybody. Literally
Yo,
everyone.
my boy Squidward was out here fucking clapping booty
Yeah,
cheeks.
that was wild what they did with that. But I guess they had to do something so that Thanos wasn't in every single scene of the movie, which I understand. But yeah, you see
Yeah,
Loki die, boom, now we're at Earth. Now it's happy go
mhm.
lucky Tony Stark hanging out with his little jumpsuit on, talking back and forth, blah blah blah.
Pepper
Then
Potts.
Pepper Potts sitting there, and then he's like, yeah, I'm gonna give it up. Like, no, nothing else. Like, I'm done. Blah blah blah. As he has an alien ship just come down and just start sucking everything away. Like, all you see is just cars
Brother,
getting sucked up. Like,
can we just talk about how good the dialogue is between Tony Stark and Doctor
yes,
Strange?
it's
Like,
so good.
to take two characters that like are literally like the same person, like with their egos, and then put them in the scene together and let them bounce off of each other like that. Oh my
Hmm.
god. It was
Oh
like
yeah.
the work, it was a work of art. They when Hulk is having a problem turning into the Hulk, and
Oh,
Tony
he's like,
looks at
get
him,
it
he's like
up. Yeah,
he's like,
having
come
trouble
on
getting
dude,
it
you're
up.
embarrassing me. Yeah, he's like, you're embarrassing me in front of the wizard. Like,
Yeah, it's
that
so
shit literally
so
took me out.
funny. It's so
I
great.
I must have watched Infinity War in no joke. I watched Infinity War in theaters at least 4 times. Like I
Yeah, I think
went
I
back
watched
to
it at
see it,
least twice in theaters.
and I went back. I think 3 of those times I went by myself. Like, you know what's
Hmm.
crazy is that you guys all came to Jacksonville.
Yeah,
Anthony,
when
one
we
of
saw it the
our
first time.
friends, Anthony. Yep, he flew in from Texas. Brian and you both came up from West Palm
Yep.
to go see it, so we could all see it together. I think I bought our tickets. I was in college at this time. I bought our tickets in class the day they came out, so we could all get seats.
Yep.
That's how ready for that movie we were. We were fucking
Yeah, it
hyped.
was that movie was insane. I mean, you go into like you start to see like where everyone's been. Like they go through like the why everyone's split up, and then like Tony has that after they have the scene where Doctor Strange gets taken by Ebony Maw. They go back to talk to Wong, and like they're like talking about like, hey, like obviously you need to call everyone, like get everyone together, and like they haven't talked since Civil War, since that fight scene between um Winter Soldier, Captain America, and Iron Man. Basically, when Winter Soldier and Captain America just obliterate Iron Man and break his suit and break his chest piece, which he could have died. Like they don't even talk about that. Where they just crack his what is it? It's a quantum
Oh, the arc reactor.
arc reactor, yes. So like, they
Yeah,
crack
which
his
is
arc
like
reactor
controlling
where
his
he's like,
heart.
it's controlling, yeah, it's keeping the metal shards away from his heart, so it doesn't die. But after that's how long they haven't talked. Like they have he had to call the cell phone to see to see what Steve Rogers was. And Steve Rogers at this point is on the run from the government, so he's not in the U.S. Like he's
Steve
incognito,
Rogers is actually
a
fucking
criminal.
saving Wanda and Vision.
Yeah, across the
At
world.
that point of the movie, which again is another hype moment when Steve catches that fucking spear that the
like in the
Proxima
subway.
Midnight bitch throws at him.
Yeah,
Bruh.
yeah.
Talk
So
about some
cool.
hype shit.
But they showed like that scene kind of does bother me with Ebony Maw going toe to toe with Vision. It's like, come on, like
No, that
it's not
wasn't
happening.
Ebony Maw. That other guy.
Oh, you're right. It's
can't
even worse.
remember.
It was the Night Hunter,
Yeah, I
the
can't
guy with
remember
the
his
staff.
name.
He just had a staff. He had no abilities. He was just like strong.
Yeah, he was kind of strong as fuck.
Yeah, he's the one that stabs Vision.
He actually beats his ass multiple times.
He beats his ass
multiple times. What's
and Vision
the
is
group
like
called? The Black Order, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, Black Order. I'm gonna look up that guy's name because it's gonna bother me too. So we got
they made all of
Cole
Thanos'
Obsidian.
They made all of Thanos' disciples way too strong, in my opinion.
Corvus Glaive. Oh
Corvus Glaive, that's it.
Yeah, his name was Corvus Glaive.
But yeah, they made them too strong. He was going toe to toe with Vision, and it was kind of like, well,
yeah, they nerfed the fuck out of Vision for the plot.
Yeah, that doesn't seem right.
That's
they had to stab him and have him dying the whole movie in order for him not to be able to fight.
And so we're kind of like nutting over,
our favorite movie,
Endgame, or not Endgame here, Infinity War. Before this turns into a 2-hour podcast, let's hit the quick things that we didn't like, since we just kind of brushed over
You mean that we did not like?
Oh,
that we did not like?
Yeah, because I got a couple. I got literally two things that I did not like. The first is the nerf of Vision for the sake of the plot.
Yeah,
they made him seem like totally powerless.
Yeah, when he got stabbed, he was like stabbed by like they didn't even say why like he couldn't heal. That was just like a blade, but they didn't.
So that blade has like some properties to it, and it's from the comics, and I can't remember the exact reason, but it made him so he couldn't phase in and out.
Yeah, he couldn't phase
like walls and shit,
and he couldn't heal. He couldn't phase his body to heal. Essentially, like he couldn't. Which is, once again, they put no back, so they didn't disclose any of that. So
yeah, like if you hadn't like read the comics and didn't know like the backstory of that blade, that it's like a magic blade, you wouldn't know why that blade was special or why that weapon was making it so he couldn't phase.
Yeah, but essentially he was dying for the whole movie.
Yeah, and the second thing that's just complete T-rash is the decision to not allow the Hulk to come out
to change. That is the one thing that sucks about about not just Infinity War but Endgame 2 is that the Hulk never got his rematch, and that bothers me to know. It's like till no end.
They never let the boy run that shit back.
Literally let him get a couple. He doesn't have to win. Just let him get a couple punches in. Let him get a couple punches in, and like Thanos go like skit slammed and be like, oh shit, he actually hit me hard. Like, but instead they have Captain Marvel arm wrestling him on the battlefield, and he's like looking crazy, and then he has to like self-destruct the Power Stone in order to beat her. It's like give Hulk a little playtime. Everyone else got some playtime. Let him get in there. But no, too scared. I can't come out. I'm not angry enough. I'm not like that part was dumb. That part was dumb. But my favorite part literally, I think the best part of that movie for me is when Thor comes in, lightning, boom, give me Thanos, and there's just lightning everywhere, and he has storm, or what is it, Stormbreaker, and he's just throwing this thing, and it's just just like bangaranging off of everything, boomeranging back and forth, like lightning everywhere, just blowing shit up. It like literally changes. Like he single-handedly, like they were all getting like overrun. He shows up and it's just like boom, like you have a god level threat,
like fucking 5 of those fucking little monsters.
You have a god level threat, and I'm pissed off, and I want to kill Thanos, and then he literally he's so strong. Like this is after his power spike from Ragnarok, and he gets Stormbreaker. And
Mhm.
when they have the fight at the end, he
And he's
actually
pissed.
wounds. He almost kills Thanos. But then it's just like he didn't go for the head, and then
Yeah,
Thanos
I
gets
mean,
away.
he effectively kills Thanos there,
He effectively
because
in the long run, yes.
yeah, after he chops him in the fucking chest with an axe, like Thanos is not that man. He's not that guy anymore.
No, yeah.
Afterwards,
He's not that he's not
um,
that guy, pal.
he's not that guy afterwards. He's
But yeah,
totally fucking.
they made Thor so that power spike was so awesome. Oh, that was one of the coolest scenes. That I mean that whole fight scene in general, like, is so
Oh,
cool.
the
They show how
Wakanda
strong
battle.
they show how strong Wanda is. They show how strong Black Panther is. That's when you first kind of see how strong his kinetic suit is. Like when he like builds up power and then just
Hmm.
disperses it with like that giant purple explosion. That was super cool. But yeah, just
One
Thor
of the things they
coming
did
in.
really good in this movie, or in Infinity War, compared to Endgame, um, a lot of people kind of complained about like that girl power scene that was in
Oh
um,
yes. And
Endgame or whatever.
yes, yes,
But they
yes.
did it so well in Infinity War when
Yeah,
they
because
had.
they didn't have to emphasize it. They were all fighting together instead of like a
Yeah,
pause motion frame, all of them
exactly.
together and then charging Thanos and then nothing happened. Like that I agree. The and Infinity
It was
War,
like the perfect way to do it.
they just went from battle scene to battle scene the way that it should be, just like they do in Lord of the Rings, just like they do in most big battle scenes where they just go character to character and show their POV or what's going on in their area, and then
Yep.
boom, it's not about it has nothing to do with the heroes. It's just boom, like yeah, when Wanda and all of them were fighting together, Wanda, Black Vision, and Black Panther's guard, I forgot her name too. They're all fighting together, but you didn't even
Oh, it's
think like
Michonne from
Michonne. Yes,
Walking
yes,
Dead.
yes.
Yeah, I can't
Yeah,
remember her
that's
name
right. That's
in
right.
the in universe.
Yeah, they're just all fighting together and they're just annihilating people. Like
Hmm.
Wanda's annihilating people, Michonne's just kebabbing people left and right with her spear.
Just
Like
fucking beating the shit out of
literally.
people with that stick,
And
bro.
then Black Widow is just like whacking people with sticks. I still don't
Yeah,
get it.
Black Widow's just fucking just chilling. She's just
Yeah,
being a
she's doing
human.
Black Widow stuff. But that
Yeah,
scene's
she's
cool.
literally just fucking
That scene's
spraying shit.
awesome. That scene
Yeah,
is
it is a good
super
scene.
dope. But yeah, they didn't have to emphasize. It was just natural. It just came.
Yeah,
It just was
they
a
did
part
a
of the
great job
movie.
on it.
Yeah,
They did an
that
awesome
whole
job.
fighting scene is so good. And then obviously the end, it's probably one of the best cliffhangers of a series where you're just like, what the fuck? Like, what just happened? Like everyone's dead.
Exactly.
What are we
I
supposed
will
to do now?
compare it. Yeah, and I'll compare it, like, since we're getting to the end of the podcast here, I'll say something controversial. I'll compare it to the ending of Empire Strikes Back.
Okay.
Um so like at the end of Empire Strikes Back, which a lot of people will say is like the best Star Wars movie. That's not my favorite Star Wars movie, but a lot of people think it is.
Right.
Um I think the reason why they think that is because it doesn't end like every movie ends. The
Right. It's not
bad
a
guys
happy.
kind of win at the end of the
Mm-hmm.
movie. And in Empire, the good guys are kind of like Luke just got his fucking arm chopped off. He
Yep.
got his shit split by fucking Darth Vader. Han
Yep.
Solo's trapped in fucking carbonite.
Yep.
And in this movie, in Infinity War, you have you have the whole fucking squad has been
Just
fucking turned to
disintegrating.
dust.
Yeah, everyone's just
Fucking, I don't feel
disintegrating.
so good, Mr. Starks. Fucking Spidey is fucking crying. The whole movie theater is fucking crying right now.
Yeah,
Um
oh my god, I can't begin to tell you how that movie created the number one most hated character in all the MCU for about, I don't know, a year and a half until they
dude, Chris
created
Pratt probably
Endgame.
was getting death
Chris
threats, bro.
Pratt was like when Star-Lord, when they were about to take the gauntlet off of Thanos's hand. It was literally boom. Mantis had him in a trance. They're about to take this thing. I mean, it was like this. And it was just like on his fingertips. And then he's just punching. Where's Gamora? What'd you do with Gamora? Blah, blah, blah. And Thanos wakes up. He's like, oh shit. And takes that gauntlet back. You should have hurt. Like every time I went to go see it in the movies, every single time, we're just like, oh, you gotta be kidding! Like people just
Dude,
freaking
they were
out.
so close, that glove. And I've
Like
watched
man
that scene
couldn't
so many
handle his
times.
emotions.
Dude, I've watched that scene so many fucking times, and I'm like,
It's
maybe it'll be different this time.
no, I sweat
Obviously, it
bullets every
never is.
time. It's so
No, it
cringe.
never
I
is.
sweat bullets. I'm like, oh my god. So funny.
Maybe Mufasa doesn't die this time. Like, nah, he still dies.
It is cool that Disney did do that and that Kevin Feige chose to do it that way because once again, like you said, most of the time the movies end hero on top, like villain is on the run or villain is this, villain is that, and usually in the next movie, like the villain will gain his power spike in the middle of the movie and they'll have his climax and then he'll be defeated. But in this one, they truly made everything so hopeless. Essentially, they made you feel hopeless in that like all these heroes are dead. How can they possibly win? How can they possibly get it back? And even the beginning of Endgame, like you feel that emotion. Like it is like
Yeah,
super, super, super sad. That opening scene with Hawkeye, like super
yeah,
tough. But they do a
dude.
great job portraying it.
Even the writers for Endgame, the same people that wrote Infinity War, the Russo brothers, even they didn't know what the fuck to do. So they had introduced time travel. They're like, fuck, we
Yeah.
really did make this shit hopeless. So they're they were like, yeah, we're just gonna have to go back in time, I guess. Shit.
Yeah.
Um,
And they kind of opened up the realm though, like when they did that, just
yeah,
like when they
can of
opened up the
worms
realm. hmm Just like
once you
they
bring
opened
in
up the
time
realm
travel.
for, yeah. And when they did the multiverse, like they opened up pretty much like infinite possibilities of what they can and cannot do with past villains, past heroes, people that have died, people that can possibly come back, Tony Stark, and some future
Oh, my
cameos or
boy coming.
movies, which some things are inevitable because just sales alone. Like I definitely see Tony Stark coming back. Robert Downey Jr. is gonna come back some way, shape, or form, whether he's like the new Jarvis AI or he's gonna be something. That's a
Tony will
fact.
come back. I can see them soft bringing him back as like the AI for
For
Ironheart.
Peter, yeah.
No,
Oh, for Ironheart.
not Peter, for Ironheart. They
Oh,
got to sell that shit ass series somehow.
yeah. That's a whole nother. That's a whole nother
Yeah,
episode that we have to go
I
over
don't think
talking
we
about
have time to
everything.
fucking talk that much shit. But
Yep. So
anyway,
we can just recap real quick. So number
I don't
four,
even remember what
or
I said was my number 5 at this point.
really,
Yeah,
I'm
that
pretty
was an hour.
sure.
That was an hour ago, bitch. What do you expect from me?
Yeah, I'm kind of lost now. I'm pretty sure my
I think I
five
said Black Panther. No clue
were. I think I
for my
was
number 5.
Iron Man. I think I was. Oh my god. No, no, I'm sorry. This is what it was. I got it. It was Guardians of the Galaxy, Iron Man. Then it was, I believe, Spider Man. No Way Home was
No Way
3,
Home. Yeah,
and then yeah, and then Endgame 4 or Endgame 2 and
Infinity War 1.
Infinity 1.
Yeah, I think I went Black Panther, Captain America, Civil War, then Winter Soldier, then Avengers 1, then Infinity War. That
Yeah,
was my
yeah.
top 5. So I guess to kind of lead us out here, we'll say, well, first of all, thank you guys for listening.
Then
If you
thank you
did
so
make it all the
much.
way through this,
I know it was an emotional roller coaster. That's for sure.
this this was only, just so you know, this episode was supposed to be 30 minutes long, and we're at an hour 17 right now. So if you did stick
Just a
around
light
for our
one.
intro video, thanks.
And what we'll
Um,
do too is we'll do a poll or we'll do like a post after we say like we'll say like, hey, first episode out, we're gonna make you guys ask you guys your top 5. Give us your top
yeah,
5.
who
Put
had
in
a
the
better top
comments.
5, me or
Yeah,
Harry?
we can do a vote. We can do That's a good idea. We'll do a vote for top 5 and then we'll do a poll for or no, sorry, we'll do a poll for who's better top 5 and then we'll do a post like saying, "Hey everyone, comment your top 5 movies." And then if we see someone that meant like has a better 5 than us, then we can do a shout out too. Like, wow, this person actually kind
Yeah,
of beat us. Not
absolutely.
that it's possible because we're super nerds, but
Yeah, I mean, fucking good luck, idiot. Um, so I've been waiting a very long time to say this. Don't forget to like, comment,
Comment,
and
and
subscribe.
subscribe.
Ding the notification bell.
Yes.
All right, boys and girls. Well, that was the first episode of Nerdcast Podcast.
Yep.
Thank you for joining us.
Just
Sean and Harry signing off.
Yep, and just like wine that I don't drink, the longer we do this, the better we'll get at it. So stick with us on some of these roller
Probably not. It's
coasters.
this is actually all downhill.
It's always going to
from
be
here.
chaotic. It's always going to be something's going on. Some tangents coming. You just got to know. You just
Zero
gotta
planning
put
coming
the
in.
seatbelt on, buckle in, and just get ready because I don't even know what episode's going, but I know what it's about. I do know
100% wear your seatbelt because there's a good chance you're driving while listening to this. So definitely wear your seatbelt.
Oh, that is true. Please click it or ticket.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you.